Hello, people. This is I'm going to let you in on the first time I played a guitar. This is not the first time, but this is the first time I played this guitar. And this is a 1949 D-18. I'm laughing already because the story on this thing is hilarious. Man, 15 years ago, maybe even close to 20 years ago, when I was really just getting kind of started on working on guitars, I've got a friend, John, and Dick, and Tom. So John, Dick, and Tom. These guys buy and sell guitars. Anyway, so we're at Winfield, and the story is jumbled, but this is the way I remember it. Is John showed up with this 49 literally in a box. The neck was broken off at the heel. I'm not even sure if there was a heel. You know, I just remember the neck was broken off. The fingerboard was off. It's got these massive, ugly popsicle brace cracks right here where the popsicle brace failed. Box of parts, and it's it's early. It's late at night, early in the morning, and he shows this to me and he goes, "I'd like you to put this together." And Lynn Dudenbosel, the man Lynn lived here, he was standing right there, and he nudges me and he goes, Brian, just walk away. Just say no. So I looked at it, and Lynn says, you walk away from that box of splinters. I looked at it, and I said, man, John, I honestly just don't have the skill to put this thing back together right now, you know. John immediately names the guitar Splinters. So he goes on, and I wake up the next morning, and the guitar has already been traded to Dick. Dick does something with it, sends it off to Tom in Kentucky. Tom rebuilds the guitar, and I think he put the heel on. I don't remember if he re-glued the heel. I don't remember. The heel was broken. Anyway, Tom put the guitar back together, got the bridge, got it up and running. We can't decide if Dick or John bought it back at this point. You know, I've got everybody involved back in this. We can't decide who got it back at this point. But either John or Dick sent the guitar to me to sorry, Tom, to fix Tom's repair work. And so I did that. I did some of my things to it. And I will say, Tom got it to the point where at least it was a guitar again. So we're all kind of cooperative effort on this. Anyway, so I went back to Dick. Dick sold it to another friend of ours, and the guitar disappeared, thank God. Anyway, so let's fast forward to now. I get an email from a customer, and he says, I've got this 1949 D-18, and I bought it a reverb, and it was shipped to me. The neck was broken off. And he said, I've got three options. So he wanted to convert it to a lefty. He said, I can either sell the parts as is, I can let you work on it and fix it up, and then we'll sell it, or you can just buy it. I said, well, that's interesting. Send the guitar, send the pieces to me, and let me take a look at it, and we'll decide where to go from there. So I got the guitar in, I got the box of parts in, looked at it, and I immediately saw, when I put the mirror inside, I immediately saw my work. I have the popsicle brace replacement here that fixes these cracks. I use the angled spruce plate with the bevels on it, and I saw my bridge plate. And the first thing I saw when I looked at it was the saddle. And I thought, that looks suspiciously like one of my saddles, except that it's obviously been sanded down from the bottom so that the wings don't match, and I didn't do that, It's got more curve in the wings, but the top looks very much like one of my saddles. I was a little bit suspicious at that point. Anyway, I look inside, and there's my bridge plate. And I know it's my bridge plate because it has the PMTE, which stands for Prue Magic Tone Enhancer on it. It's just a little strip of rosewood on the back of the plate right here. Nobody else uses that, and it's you immediately know your work. And I thought, I worked on this guitar, and I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, this looks vaguely familiar. And I could not place the guitar. You know, I'm looking at the back, and the back is obvious, the sides have obviously refinished. It's just shattered. And I go, I know this guitar. And I could not place the thing. So I started looking through all my emails, my QuickBooks account. I started looking for popsicle brace replacement. I looked for PMTE. I had like about 15 of those in there. Cross-referenced everybody, and I couldn't get it. So I thought, this has got to be somebody that I know, that I just kind of, did the work for them, maybe even before I was invoicing and that sort of thing. So I went through my emails on my laptop computer, and I came up blank. And I'm sitting in there drinking my coffee at my desktop computer, and I pulled up Thunderbird, which I used to use all the time, and I searched in Thunderbird, and I found two 1949 D-18s that I'd worked on, and one of them was Dick. And I thought, that sounds likely. So I emailed him, and I said, do you remember 1949? He said, no, I don't remember it. If you got pictures. So I sent him pictures of the reverb ad. He goes, oh, yeah. And then he started telling me the story, and, man, it just all came flooding back on me. All right, so that's how we are. So 20 years or 15 years later, or whatever it is, Splinters is back in my shop as a box of parts. All right, so I bought it from the customer as a box of parts and put it back together. It's taken me 2 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks to get to this point. I'm looking at light through. I'm looking at light through the purfling right here, which is not unusual. You get a good strong light back here, you can see through it. Anyway, it's taken me 2 or 3 weeks to get to this point. And what I had to do is I had to rebuild the neck heel again because it's broken. I used hot hide glue on this junction here. Let me show you the junction. You can see the crack right here. And cool. This was completely broken off, First of all, it took me 3 hours. 3 hours to get the broken heel out of the neck. And while I'm doing that, I go, this is not my neck reset. Way too many shims and too much support up here, which I never do. I want this to be, fairly loose so that it can rock back and forth. Anyway, this was jammed and they're tight. I had to use steam. There's just a heel, The neck's already on the ground over there. So I had to use steam in there, and it would not budge. I had to drill alongside the dovetail in order to get the steam down there. And then I clamped it on my workbench like this with a block of wood underneath the heel and clamps pushing down on the front, to make pressure. It took 3 hours to get that neck heel out, and when it did come out, it was like a gunshot. Pow! And the next thing, it's loose. It doesn't just slip out. So I got the heel off. And fortunately, it still fit pretty good onto the neck. So I hide glued that together. And then, and I'm going to enclose pictures of all this, but I'm just explaining it to you. On the face of the dovetail, I routed in a pretty deep groove, and I epoxied in maple strips because the force of the neck is going to want to come up this way. So by putting a wedge in this way, like that, I'm trying to counteract that force. It has to actually push against this entire wedge. And some people were like, you should glue it this way. But to me, you see, I made a mechanical wedge in there that the neck is going to have to fight against that in order to move. And I staggered them too on either side of the dovetail. So one's over here and one's over here on the dovetail. They're staggered. So there's not a stress riser here. I did that. Hot hide glue on this joint, which probably would have been sufficient all by itself. And then, because the heel has at some point been narrowed, it takes a massive shim to get that neck in there even reasonably tight. So I ended up using 2 pieces of Brazilian rosewood that were almost 1/8 of an inch thick in order to make the proper shim. And I hide glued those to the face of the dovetail. So now I've got the dovetail locked in this way, and locked in this way and hide glued over the top. And, you know, people talk about dowels and stuff going up to the neck. I've never had much success with dowels. I've had dowels fail, pull off, and that sort of thing. So I think my approach here is good. Oh, and then on the face of the neck, on the face of the neck's dovetail, there's another strip of wood that covers the whole thing. And that's hide glued on there. So I've got this way, this way, this way, and then the actual joints glued together. So I'm optimistic, you know. Then I reset it in there. Man, that took a long time. Refretted the neck. I didn't reset it yet. When I was getting ready to reset it, I started noticing that the fingerboard was not glued down up here. It was loose up at the top. So I pushed on it, and it wouldn't shut. Well, I got a gap over there, so maybe I can clean it out, you know, with the spatula and get it to seat. So I took a spatula and I ran it up in there and I started cleaning, and the whole fingerboard just started coming up. So I thought, well, that's not going to work, you know. I ended up taking the fingerboard off, and when I laid it on a flat level surface there, neither the neck nor the fingerboard were flat. They both had curves. The fingerboard curved this way, so that the edges were up and the center was high, and the neck curved the other way, like that. So you had these parentheses, you know, and there's no way that fingerboard was going to go on there. So I spent a good day, 2 days, 3 days, time getting everything leveled, and I checked it at both of them independently against a flat surface, a StewMac, you know, piece of rod like that that's perfectly level, and I put the fingerboard on there and I check, chalk it, mark it. I got the fingerboard level on there, I got the neck level on the same thing, and then it went together pretty good. Hot hide glue on that again. Then, you know, kind of reshape it just a little bit, you know, to get the curves right and everything. Finished the back. I didn't lose any of the stain or anything, but I refinished the back with a shellac French polish, and the same on the heel. I didn't want to. I didn't have time to go lacquer that or anything yet. I just put a French polish on it because there's no hiding the fact that it's not a stock. After all that was done, the nut fought me. The nut didn't fit down in the slot. There's all kinds of dips and curves, and the nut itself is not flat. But I did get this nut in there just as a temporary nut. And of course I refretted it and replaned the fingerboard here to get the relief. Haha, beautiful. I got the relief really nice. Finally I decided the neck was good enough, and I reset it, put it on here, and that took, you know, every little thing fought me. This went wrong. I couldn't get a good fit on there. Finally, you know, settled down, worked on it. So this guitar has been a ton of work. I just want you to know that this is not the normal amount of work. And after that 30s double aught, you know, this is a lot of work. Interior, though, the interior of this guitar is great, you know. I mean, it's got my bridge plate. It's got the popsicle brace crack, which I'm going to watch, keep an eye on. But the braces are unscalloped. The top is actually pretty nice. I mean, it's been refinished, obviously. It's got lots of dings and scratches. It's got a repaired crack over here. But, you know, it's pretty good. So, bridge is non-original, of course. Could have been done just a little bit better, but it's on nice and snug, so I'm not touching it. And I think the binding on the back has been replaced because it doesn't match the front binding. It's got more of a tortoise on it, and this is a darker. So that's been replaced, but it's a great job. Feels good. And you know, I don't have a lot of money in this guitar, and I am going to sell it one day, and it won't be for a lot of money, and you get a 1949 guitar that you can play. So let's tune it up. And this is the first time I've played it. The frets are not even dressed yet. The action is not set. This is just the saddle that it came with. And I just set the neck to that action, or to that saddle. I really have no idea what the action is right now. It feels like about 93 thousandths, which is what I was shooting for. I hope it stays there because I sure don't want to take the neck off again. Let's get a tune. I did tune it up. Intonation looks good. Should be. I mean, the saddle's in the right place. Nice. See what it sounds like. I mean, it sounds good. That sounds pretty good. Boy, the neck is nice. This neck shaft is worth saving. Whatever it takes to keep that heel on there. Man, this is nice neck. Yeah. So one of 11/16 neck, of course, but it's got a nice round V to it. Pretty chunky neck. This is good, man. Also, one thing about this radius, it's almost a 20-inch radius. So that flatter feel makes the neck feel a little bit different, a little bit, it makes it feel a little wider. Yeah, it's almost, I had to go to 16 here, so it's probably a compound radius now. 16-inch up here, and then probably about a 20 up here. I know I switched to the 20-inch calls when I was pressing the frets in. And I used 16 up to here and 20 on down here. So. This sounds pretty good for a box of splinters. I mean, it's not bad. Got a pickup in it, got a K&K in it, and I managed to save all that. That's fine. So, gosh, you got a good old gig guitar here, you know. Take this thing out. It looks great. Just rattling around there. Piece of wood. I got a couple more things I want to do to it now. I'm going to watch this this area right here where the popsicle brace is, and someone is doing repairs on top of my repairs, and I think I know probably who did it, but you know, anyways. So anyway, I got my popsicle brace deal in here, and they ran some sticks from the sound hole brace backwards, which is fine. That would have been a good deal, except they ran them to the sides right here. And man, that's not the strongest place on a guitar. If I was going to run an additional support, I would have run it from the sound hole brace to the neck block, because that's the whole problem. There's the neck block caving in, not the back and the sides caving in. And so I shaved those out. I got to go one more. And I'm going to watch this area right here. And I might go ahead and put another spruce plate on top of mine for just extra reinforcement. I've fixed worse fingerboard cracks than this and had them hold up good. And this one's lined up and not showing any signs of creeping. So, but I'm getting a little bit of dip right here. I'm getting quite a bit of dip drop off on the fingerboard. And so I know there's a dip right here. And I'm just going to keep an eye on that. The back right here, I mean, the top looks beautiful. The top's not doing anything weird. I got a pick guard to go on it over there. And this is an oversized pick guard. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go with a regular size pick guard like this. And you can hardly see it when it's on. It's still got the sticky paper on, so you got to kind of use your imagination here. But it's going to go like that. It's going to be on there, right? Anyway, there it is. That's actually a Del Mar pickguard. It's a stock Martin pickguard. And you're going to be able to see a little bit of the old stuff out here, but I really don't think that's going to be noticeable in the pickguards on there. So, I mean, my God, you know. Well, there it is. Man, I'm impressed. The neck is awesome. Gosh, that's a nice neck. Good. There it is. I just wanted to share a long story and the first listening, playing, stringing up of this guitar. This is literally the first time I played it. So I think it has potential. What I'm going to do now is finish up the frets, dress the frets out, make sure they're good, and fix the nut, which is pretty good, but the spacing is just a little off and it doesn't fit real good in here. I'm going to make a new nut for it pretty quick, and then I will measure the action and set the saddle. And yeah, that saddle will probably work. I'll probably adjust it and go ahead and use that saddle for a while. Well, that's about it. Frets, nut, saddle. Leave it strung up for a couple months and make sure it's good. And I'm going to get the rest of this lumber out and keep an eye on that. So hopefully the neck will hold up, but right now it's looking great. I don't see anything moving. I'm pretty confident that I have got that thing reinforced, and it's got an inch and a half of dovetail here at the top, which will help that forward tilt. Plus the fingerboard is nice and solid and intact, and the fingerboard's offering a lot of support to it, so I feel pretty good about it. I wish that crack was down here a little bit further. You know, if it was another ½ inch down, it'd be even better, but I fixed worse. So, okay, time to eat breakfast.